Welcome to New York Auto Show 2024. It's a huge city, and this is a big debut from the show. This is the all-new 2025 Infiniti QX80. And in this video, I, of course, want to show you and tell you everything about this brand new, luxurious, full-size, truck-based, body-on-frame SUV. But also, I want to compare it against its competitors. Because, of course, Infiniti is coming to the market with their A game, but if they want to grab sales, they must compete against General Motors with their class-leading and dominating segment of SUVs, including the, of course, GMC Yukon and Cadillac Escalade, and of course the Chevy Tahoe, the class leader. So let's take a look at the styling first. It's definitely new. You can tell by the light signatures in the back. Really beautifully done, in my opinion. This is the high-end autograph edition of the new Infiniti QX80. It's rolling on big wheels. It's a little bit larger than before. Infiniti says the chassis is now stiffer than before. And just look at this new interior. Floating console, screens everywhere. It's really, really gorgeous and well done as well. You can kind of see this is done in this little bit of piano black, some red. Everything is covered with leather. It's got the latest premium infotainment system and sound system. Just look at this Klipsch speaker right here in the headrest. And massaging, ventilated and heated seats in the front and also in the back. There's also a huge change underneath the hood, and I'll tell you about that in a second. Power, adjustable. This has got captain chairs. You will also be able to have a bench seat up here. Huge space throughout. You can actually click a button right here, and the seat should move out of the way. So even if you have a child seat loaded up, it could stay. A forward-facing child seat right there. Plush carpet. And there's the third row seat. Panoramic sunroof. So I think they're hitting all of the elements. So this is a big, luxurious SUV. It has to be comfortable. It has to be very quiet. It also has to be powerful. So now, I was going to walk over here, walk around. There's a huge crowd next to it. Because it's one of the hottest things here. Very, very exciting. But this is the power unit. You could see it right here. The V8 is gone. You could see some of the moving parts. It's now a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 with, according to Infiniti, 450 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. You could see the turbochargers are over here, and they're relatively small. I haven't driven this machine yet. No journalists have driven it yet. But I'm going to assume that because the turbochargers are so small right here, that it has almost no lag. And of course, Nissan and Infiniti are very good at engine development and engineering. So right there down below, you could see there's a chain driven. It appears maybe the timing is chain driven right there. So good amount of power. It's 450, so that's more than the Lincoln Navigator by about 10 horsepower. 516 pound-feet of torque, once again, a little bit more than in the Lincoln Navigator's EcoBoost 3.5 liter twin turbo. So this engine that's underneath the hood of the new QX80 could be very, very potent. And Infiniti says also about 20% more efficient than the old V8 that replaced it. So, of course, you could see right there on the top of the steering column, there is a little eye monitor, so it does have driver assistance technologies, all the latest stuff. It has to compete here because GM has Super Cruise, Ford and Lincoln. Well, Ford has the Blue Cruise system. Lincoln has their own version of that system. This Infiniti will tow up to 8,500 pounds. So it will still tow really competitive numbers. I mean, we've towed with other QX80s on the iGauntlet, and the ones we've towed with had air suspension. And this one also has available air suspension, height adjustable. And it self-levels, and the old V8 pulled really strong, really good. So I'm assuming this one will be very similar, except turbochargers should have, no trouble with high elevations in Colorado. So there is a lot of music here. You can see cup holders in the back, controls, everything is powered. All the seats are powered. Starting price is $82,500, so they increased the price quite a bit by about $8,000. So they're upgrading this vehicle, but they're also increasing the price, and that's curious because I want to show you a GMC Yukon in a second that tops out over 100K, and this autograph will top out at just over $110,000. So Infiniti is really going after the luxury machines. $110,000 is basically also the price of, you can get an Escalade for that money. You could also get a Lexus LX 600 that I can show you as well. All right, so that's the QX80. Now let me go check out the competition. There it is. I wanted to find the GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate, and I did find it. And this is the machine that the QX80 must compete against. So let's take a look at some features, pricing, power options, towing, and the rest. This one, yeah, it's popular. It's expensive. I'll show you the price in a second. And this is also the XL. So, of course, GM and also Ford and Lincoln and also Jeep Grand Wagoneer do this, long wheelbase versions of their full-size SUVs. And this is it. You could see it right here. Here's the interior. You probably have seen it before because GM introduced their Denali Ultimate line, first in their Sierra 1500s, then also heavy duties, and of course now as well in their Yukons. And you can see beautifully crafted leather interior, and this one is really black on black with these wheels. So I'm going to look at some specs based on, there's a light signature, based on the shorter wheelbase, because that's more comparable to what Infiniti is doing. And the pricing is about the same. So under the hood of the GMC, so this is very traditional power. Still, the 6.2 liter V8 is there with 420 horsepower, or the 3 liter straight inline 6 turbo diesel, the Duramax, with a 305 horsepower. So that's quite an efficient powertrain. So it'll be interesting to see how Infiniti fits into this. Look at the space inside of this longer wheelbase machine. Of course, here are the screens on the back. The towing rating is a little bit lower on the Yukons and the Tahoes and the Escalades. They tow between 8,400 pounds for the two-wheel drive versions and 8,200 pounds for 4x4 versions. You can see the quad pipes on this one, but very competent towing machines. And the Duramax is very efficient, about 24 mpg. So this one is not very efficient. This one 14 city, 18 highway, and 16 combined. This is a big V8, but the big traditional, sound is also important for this segment. You get in, you fire up that engine, and it kind of lulls you calms you down with that little low rumble of the exhaust system and the engine. This is kind of Vader chrome grille. And the price for this fully loaded one is $104,370. So for just over $100K, if this was a short wheelbase, just over $100,000, you could top out a GMC Yukon. If you had more money and if you were a little bit more flashy, you wanted to show off a little bit more, you could grab or you could buy a new Escalade. But a lot of people go this way because it's not totally in your face. It's a little bit more understated luxury. People love these things. I know at our local dealerships, you will never find one of these because they're immediately sold when they arrive. So Infiniti has a tall order in order to compete. All right, but now let's switch gears. I want to show you a Lexus LX 600. And there it is. There's another direct competitor to the new QX80. This is the LX 600. I found this one here at the show. It's a little bit flashy. It's got this wrap and it's got a few overland accessories like the Prinsu rack and of course the awning and the chairs and a fire pit. But I wanted to show you this because this is quite important. The new QX80 for 2025 starting price is about $82,000, just over that. The starting price for the GMC Yukon is around $62,000 for a two-wheel drive model. So the Yukon actually has a wide range of price, but the starting price here is about $93,000. So the LX 600 really takes, I mean, it kind of starts where it was with the previous generation and also takes where the previous Land Cruiser 200 series left off, and it kind of brings it to a modern age with the new powertrain, the new chassis. And under the hood here is a 3.4 liter, sometimes also called 3.5 liter, depending on your kind of designation. But it's really truly closer to 3.4 liters, twin turbo, high output version. I'm gonna call it high output version of their engine, which is 409 horsepower. So a little bit less power than the QX80, but really luxurious experience. And like I said, a very high starting price. So let me show you inside a little bit. But the interior here is quite a bit smaller. Because it's using the new chassis, the floor in the rear is higher. So it's got a few, maybe a little compromises. You can see right there, the system is booting up. I can kind of show you a little bit there. There are all the screens, the central screen, the screen up above. Once again, central locker. So it takes a little bit more of an off-roady approach, at least with this model. So because you could put kind of beefy tires, you have a really good 4x4 system, but interior volume and overall comfort, especially for the third row, is less. So if you're looking to really utilize your big SUV as a 3-row version, I would actually go more with the Infiniti or the GM trucks or the Ford Lincoln and Jeeps, because those have independent rear suspensions. This has a solid rear axle, and the interior space is a little bit less for this one than with some others. But this Lexus, I mean, I've driven versions of this before, and it's just ultimately quiet, smooth, and quite powerful. Even though on paper 409 horsepower doesn't sound like a lot, it's still quite good. So this is it for me here at the show for this one. Thanks for joining me. Check out oldtfl.com for everything from this show and everything automotive, all the news, because the boys are over there in Utah driving Jeeps at the Easter Jeep Safari. I'm here in New York City looking at large and luxurious SUVs and also really affordable new vehicles. So please check out oldtfl.com. And which one would I pick? You know, I really want to drive that Infiniti QX80 and see how that powerful new engine behaves, performs, And actually, they could maybe steal a few sales away from some of these guys like GM and Lincoln and Lexus. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Which one would you pick? I'll see you next time.